a pleasant Thursday, and welcome to Texas Classic Futurity and Derby Week here at Lone Star Park. I'm Jim Byers, alongside Rodney Nelson. It's low 60s, overcast. Track is fast as we get set for a 10-race card tonight. An Arabian race to kick things off, quarter horse races after that. The week culminates on Saturday. A lot going on Saturday, but the key events, Grade 1 races, the Refrigerator, the Texas Classic Futurity and Derby. But until then, some really competitive races, I thought, in handicapping this week. Yesterday and the day before that took me a while. There's some tough races.
I thought there were some good ones tonight that you can go quite a bit of different ways and hopefully find you one that's going to pay out pretty well. I think I got a couple of those tucked away for a little later on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many bombs I threw today, but we will find out. On to the first. An Arabian contest at 3/4 of a mile. Ernesto Torres has the top two favorites in this one. He wins a lot of these races and frequently goes off heavily favored. Although there was a heavily favored Arabian the other day that I noted in the pre-show, not to brag, but I guess I am kind of doing a little backdoor brag. That the previous race, that favorite the other day had not looked very good. He was odds on the other day and odds on in the previous race, and he flopped. So, but you don't see that very often. So we'll see what happens here. $15,000 maiden claimers, but we are on opposite sides of the Ernesto Torres exacta here.
Yeah, you know, it seems like a lot of times these races, Ernesto has a couple horses in there, and I end up splitting them, putting one right in between them. I went with Sweet Ivory AA here in the opener. You know, this horse has only had 2 starts. The last one was pretty decent. I mean, finished third in that race. But look who the horse ran behind, RB Malexis and then Dreamseek. Those horses basically ran off with it. Sweet Ivory AA was the third-place finisher, but was still 9 lengths ahead of the fourth-place finisher. So I'm going to go ahead and take Sweet Ivory AA. I think this horse continues to improve out of that Grade 3 last time out. I got Aaron MHF as my second choice here. Last time out, the horse ran 5th, but the 2 before that, 2 consecutive second-place finishes behind a horse I mentioned a second ago, Dreamseek, who beat Aaron MHF by 22 in that race 2 starts back. And then I got number 4, PSC Madison, that other Ernesto Torres horse, as my third choice. Coming out of the maiden special weight last time after being off the track for a couple years, drops down in here for the tag. Let's see what happens with this 4, but give me the 7 on top.
You know, I split the Ernesto Torres exacta as well, but I went with PSC Madison on top of Aaron MHF and Sweet Ivory AA. You really can't do this, but sometimes it's fun to look at that. You look at horses that in their previous race or a previous race had faced a common runner. In this case, Dreamseek, who you mentioned, just ran off with that previous start by 22 lengths. Oddly enough, both PSC Madison and Sweet Ivory AA were both beaten a similar margin, almost exactly the same margin, about 29 whopping lengths by Dreamseek. PC Madison ran 5th in that race, and Sweet Ivory AA 3rd out of 4. But this is kind of interesting. Conditions vary so much. They're different races. That just happened that Dreamseek beat those horses by, wide margins in both of those. But nonetheless, PSC Madison, one race after a really, really long layoff. She wasn't betting her comeback race, but Ernesto Valdez Jimenez, who is Torres' top rider, sticks with her. She's older, still a maiden, lightly raced. You got to wonder if maybe they went off and tried to breed her. I don't know. It seems like, a long time away and bring a 7-year-old mare back. And she chased a 1-9 shot in Dreamseek last time and just was absolutely flattened. But maybe she can come, she chased her okay for a while before giving up. So we'll see. On to the second. Texas bred, 2-year-old maiden special weight fillies. Good contention in this one. They'll go 350.
Yeah, so this is one of those races that I had to look at for quite a bit. I ended up settling on the 3-1 morning line, HP Trace of Cartel. I mean, last time out, this horse was in a maiden race. Ran second in that one, missed by 3/4 a length. Faces Texas bred today, where the horse has run up against a couple times before and had some respectable finishes. I think that HP Trace of Cartel gets the job done. Number 8, La Mummy, is going to be my second choice. Only one start for this filly. That happened just back at the beginning of the month, right here at Lone Star Park. Finished second, and that one missed by 3/4 of a length. I'm always looking for horses to improve in their second start. La Mummy could do that right here. And then I got Candy Corn as my third choice. Got beat by 3/4 of a length last time out, in for the $25,000 tag. Had some futurity trials before that. Going to go into straight maiden race now and see what happens with Candy Corn, but I think this horse is a pretty good one. She's got some speed. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done, but I got it 7-8-1 here in race 2.
You know, I saw this race as wide open enough. I didn't really want to take a short price, so I went with Candy Corn on the inside. I picked her last time also, coming out of a somewhat unspectacular futurity trial efforts into a maiden claimer, a $25,000 maiden claimer, so a higher one. Had some significant trouble in that race. I had her as being bumped pretty hard sideways. She does have a trouble comment indicated by the little arrow tag in the program, but I thought her trouble was pretty significant. She ran on pretty well, ran second, and I'm going to give her another shot. I picked her last time, and that's not an automatic pick back, obviously, but I'm going to try her again. Draws inside, first time against Texas Breds. HP Trace of Cartel, I agree, I think she was out really fast last time and just straight up out finished, but she's got a big shot as well. Wasn't quite as thrilled with an American Eagle, a morning line favorite in here, but we'll see. She's certainly a big contender in here.
I mean, she could definitely fit in with this field right here. I mean, I thought number 5, Hawkeye Valentine, might have a shot as well.
Yeah.
Along with LZ Hennessy, a lot of different ways you can go here in this second.
And Rick used La Mummy as his long shot pick of the day in the program. You have her second. I couldn't quite squeeze her in there, but she does come off a pretty promising debut, and most importantly, I think, was 4-1 in her debut, so people were betting on her. On to the third. More Texas bred 2-year-olds. These are $7,500 maiden claimers, though, and they'll go the short $250.
All right, so here's one that's a little bit of a price, or I thought would be the price, but we got the same one.
There you go.
Right, 8-1 horse for both of us here. First Nice Star. All right, so Juan Diaz Jr., the trainer of this one, he leads the training standings right now. If you look at First Nice Star, I mean, this horse has had 3 races out here at Lone Star Park this year, has finished a couple necks and a head behind the other horses in those races. Now, this came at the $5,000 level, was claimed last time out, goes in here for $75. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between those last races and this race tonight. I think that First Nice Star can get the job done here at 250 yards. Number 8, Going Streaking, 6-1 right here for my second choice. Was a third-place finisher last time out. Missed by 3/4 of a length at 300 yards. They're going to cut back 50 yards here to go 250. This is one of those horses that Tudor Jordan sends out. He hadn't had very many starters out here this year, but does have a couple wins, couple seconds, and some thirds. It's 5 in-the-money starts from his 12 starters so far this year. This one at 6-1 might make a pretty nice one when it's all said and done. And then I got the 5, Dynamite Flash, as my third choice. This horse was in for the $10,000 tag last time out. Ran 4th in that one. A couple races before that, this horse was in against Texas Maidens, 6th in both of those. But we saw that last race coming down for a claiming price seemed to help out a little bit. Now it's cutting $2,500 off that price. See if it doesn't help out a little bit more and get Dynamite Flash up there in the top 3.
Yeah, I just think I agree. His last race was okay. I thought he went kind of evenly when I went back and watched the replay, but he was 19-10 in that race. The bit of class relief is going to help, but I decided to try to beat him. First Nice Star, you mentioned the barn, comes from a very hot barn and has only faced Texas Breds on one occasion and was quite competitive with those last time and stays at this abbreviated distance. She seems reasonably quick, familiar with bottom claiming levels to be sure, but I don't think between 5,000 and 7,500 there's that big a difference. The 2, Val Carley, is one that I wanted to mention because on October 27th, Val Carley became unruly during the loading, unseated the rider and ran off and went the wrong way around the outer rail of the racetrack and ended up running right back here into the paddock.
The paddock, yes.
Broke through the outer rail and ran down the tunnel and was safely gathered in here in the paddock. But I actually think that she has a shot. She's dropping out of straight maiden races against Texas Breds. She shows some fractiousness in the past as well. But if she behaves herself and runs, she might be able to compete. Pilon Silo Kaz, number 7, is what I'm curious about, too. Gets a much-needed drop and had a horrible start last time. On to race 4. Here's a question. There's an interesting story about this horse, Wow. which I can tell you about as we go. But let's get to the picks first. Maiden special weights, 3 to 5 years old, 440 yards. There's a really fascinating story about my top pick. Wow. But why don't we talk about your top pick here first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Candy for the Baby before we get into story time here. Number 4, this horse has had 3 lifetime starts, 2 of them coming right here at Lone Star Park. The most recent one wasn't the best. I mean, the horse had some trouble in that race, some significant trouble as indicated in the program. Never was in front of anybody in that entire race. Finished 10 of 10. But let's talk about the 2 before that. Had a good one in a futurity trial down at Sam Houston, missing by 2 to Apolitical Crystal. Followed that back up after some time off here on September 9th, opening weekend of the 2023 Fall Meeting of Champions. Went off as the favorite in that race. Ended up second, beaten by 3/4 of a length. Had a little bit of trouble in that race as well. Hopefully Candy for the Baby can get out clean and have a nice run today. I think this horse could take the 4th race here, but I got Wow second. Let's hear what you got to say about Wow.
Well, first of all, great breeding. This is a 3-year-old making his debut. Great breeding by FDD Dynasty out of the winner of the All-American Futurity a few years ago, Fly Baby Fly. She could really run, obviously. She was also second in the All-American Derby. The interesting thing is she's a firster. I'm also curious to see if Wicked Reward, the 6, can compete with this bunch. He's another firster, I think, has a shot. But with Wow, I noticed he was a $20,000 Heritage Place yearling purchase, or not yearling, winner mixed purchase. So I thought, being out of an All-American winner, $20,000 doesn't seem like much of a price. Well, I looked him up, and he actually was sold as a yearling in the big Ruidoso summer sale in his yearling year for $175,000. And obviously something went wrong, or they soured on him, or the owners went broke or something, because somebody paid $175,000 for this guy. And then the following winter at the winter mix sale last winter up in Oklahoma City sold him for $20,000. So somebody basically wrote this horse off. That I wrote red flags in my program, meaning why would they do that? In thoroughbreds, you see horses pinhooked where they buy yearlings and put them in 2-year-old sales and try to, in effect, flip them like you'd flip a house, raise their value. But in this sport, you buy big yearlings to put them in futurities and run them as 2-year-olds. This horse didn't run as a 2-year-old. I'm not privy to why, but I picked Wow anyway, just figuring as a yearling that thought he was worth $175,000, and his mother was an All-American winner. So.
Interesting that he debuts at 442. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, his mother obviously could run 440, winning the All-American, but that is a long way for a horse to debut. On to the 5th. Start of the pick 6, 2,166 in tonight's pick 6 carryover. Scratch the 2 alsos. These are $15,000 maiden claimers going just an eighth of a mile, 220.
I thought I had a good one picked out here that was going to surprise everybody. We're on the same horse once again,
and I'm
right?
kind of into some firsters.
It's 2 8-to-1s that we've been on as top choice.
I'm curious to see if they get bet significantly, not because we picked them, but just because we saw something. Maybe the players will see something.
Well, what I like about this 7 here, Zivas Cartel Effort, first start for this horse, but if you look at those 2 workouts, they had one right here at Lone Star Park on the 13th of October, one out at Zia Park on the 29th of October.
Which is interesting. They would have had a bullet work here and then shipped him. Maybe they were going to put him in a futurity or something at Zia, and it
didn't work out.
And they bring him back.
Comes back here, but I mean, both those workouts were bullet workouts, and those times were for 220 yards, just like this race tonight. If Zivas Cartel Effort can run those times in this race tonight, she's going to win it. He's going to win it.
Think. Yeah, and another slightly older horse making his debut. He's 4 years old, unaltered according to the program, and making his debut.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm going on is those 2 workout times there. I think those are quick enough that's going to win this race. Even the one back on the 13th of October right here at Lone Star was out of the gate too, and still was fairly quick.
And I like to see that.
Yeah, so I think Zivas Cartel Effort's worth a shot here in race number 5, this first timer. I got the 6 MP Bad Habits as my second choice. This horse has had a ton of experience compared to Zivas Cartel Effort, right? 10 starts for MP Bad Habits. This horse has been up there close in the last few. So if you look at the last 3 races, had a couple third-place finishes. Most recent one was in a maiden race out here at 220, just like we're going tonight. Finished 5th in that one, but just beaten by 3/4 of a length. We'll see what happens with MP Bad Habits. And then I got number 5, He's a Fast Dynasty, as my third choice here. 15-1 on the line for this horse. Last time out, I'm drawing a line through that when the horse had some trouble. Race before that, finished third in a $20,000 maiden claiming race. Had some trouble on that one, too. Indicated here in the programs. Ended up elevated to second in that race. Those were the 2 claiming races this horse has been in. So, I mean, this horse is going into one here, a maiden claiming race for $15,000. That's less than the last 2. Let's see what happens with He's a Fast Dynasty, but I think this horse could outrun those 15-1 odds here in race 5. I think there's a lot of money to be made here in this race.
I do too, because a lot of your horses that are liable to draw money have had a lot of chances, let's be honest. He's a Fast Dynasty completely eliminated himself at the start last time with a lunge and a big bump. Time before that, another poor start. But, you know, he's if he behaves well, he definitely competes with the rest of these more experienced runners. So, yeah, I'm going to try to give the Firster a little bit of a shot here. I'm also curious to see how they bet the 10 Heroic, who's my 4th pick. Juan Diaz, Victor Urrieta. Bank on it, Betsy, the dam of this horse, won her 2nd career start. She was 2 for 10. That was over in New Mexico, so showed a little precocity. The works didn't look very impressive, but I'm curious to see how they bet her. Okay, we got a video here in race number 6. We're going to watch the 2, Not Today, Karen B, who is the 2 in this race. This is her last start. This isn't a first-level allowance, and this race here today is a Texas-bred non-2 allowance as well. Watch the 2, Not Today, Karen B. Breaks well, gets out of there well, competes pretty well. She's one off the inside there with the white blinkers, the white cap. Gets out very well here. I think the 4, who's drifting out, has a slight lead. Parallax distortion and all. Remember, the outside look like they're doing better than the inside. And the 4 takes over here. And Not Today, Karen B, though, has no idea about who these horses are on the far outside. Runs a pretty good second there. Only beaten a half length. I like the way she competed. And she's facing some horses tonight that are coming off maiden wins, albeit impressive ones like Eyes Like an Eagle. But coming out of maiden wins, you never know who's in maiden company. Sometimes those races come up strong, but she faced a little bit better field last time, chased them gamely, and had a nice win over this track opening weekend before costing herself all chance in her second. So I'm going to take a shot with her, 9-2 on the line.
Yeah, I got her picked second. I think Not Today, Karen B does have a shot in this race. But I like Eyes Like an Eagle just a little bit better. I mean, this horse is coming in off that maiden win last time out right here at Lone Star Park. I love horses that win here on our track. Won that race by a length and 3/4, so a pretty good margin of victory at the 400-yard distance. If you look before that, this horse had some 350s out at Retama Park. Ran well in those. I mean, this horse got out of the gate very well in each of the last 3 races. Was up there toward the front most of the way down the racetrack. I think Eyes Like an Eagle does the same thing today. Not Today, Karen B, my second choice. And then I got Chromo, the 7, as my third pick. This horse is coming off a win right here at Lone Star Park. Last time out, let's see what happens today. See if this horse can't put together another good one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he broke really, really well and was really sharp early last time and wound up holding sway by a half length, but was really impressive in that dash. And Eyes Like an Eagle, my notes that I write to myself, I said he just crushed him. I mean, he was drawn away at the end. On to race number 7. This race is not written for fillies, but it's entirely a field of fillies except for the 8 Justify and the 10 Kickapoo Blood, both of whom do figure much in this race. 220, 2-year-olds, non-winners of 2 Lifetime is what they all work out in. There's another condition on here, but they're all non-2s.
I'll take number 1, Relentless Snowdrop, for our top trainer, Juan Diaz Jr. You know, this horse won his trial race for the Dash for Cash Futurity. Didn't make the top 10, but was in the top 20. Went in the Dash for Cash Juvenile. Finished 7 of 10 in that one. Most recent race was a trial for the Texas Classic. You know, ran up against Cowboys Gun Z that
tough
day,
assignment.
especially Good Candy.
Yeah.
Both those horses qualified. Yeah, so a very tough race there. Dropping down in here from that tough race to an allowance race. Let's see what happens. But I think Relentless Snowdrop at 220. I mean, cutting that distance off from those past 3 races as well. I
thought she broke well last time. I mean, it doesn't show her very close to the lead because by the time they got to the first point of call, these heavy heads were swallowing her up. But she still got out pretty well and competed reasonably well until the level of competition just overwhelmed her.
Yeah, I think Relentless Snowdrop can take this one from the rail. I went with the outside horse, Kickapoo Blood, as my second choice. Another one that's running some trial races, 4 trial races for Kickapoo Blood, dating back to March at Louisiana Downs. I mean, this horse won that first trial over there at LAD. Since then, hadn't finished in the money, but has been running in some tough ones. I mean, had the Dash for Cash trials 2 back, Texas Classic trials last time out. Was beaten in both of them, but, ran into some tough ones. Liberator and Fraudster, both those horses ran well in those trials, posted some fast times. So I got Kickapoo Blood from the outside. Number 8, Justify, is going to be my third choice. Coming in here off a win. The horses hit the board a couple times before that. Once at Sam Houston, once at Retama in trials there. Came down to a maiden race last time, won it, so goes in this allowance for the next logical step. Let's see what Justify can do here in race 7.
Yeah, he last time he won it 4-1, and I didn't use him anywhere, which I went back and looked at that, and I couldn't understand why. Well, I didn't use him in this spot either, so I don't have anything against him. For some reason, I just have not been able to put a number by his name. But, yeah, I'm with Relentless Snowdrop as well. Is going to get a much-needed break in competition level today. And Desha is my second pick of the 3. She is a very quick breaker. She absolutely flew in the early stages of a 250 race last time while beating maidens. The margin at the end wasn't that great, but she was absolutely flying, and she gets to go a little shorter here tonight. Race 8. Race 5 begins race 7 begins the pick 5. Race 8 begins the 8, 9, 10. No, I'm sorry. The previous race begins the pick 4.
Pick 4, yes.
The late pick 4. Race 8 just begins the late pick 3. I'm a little off on my race numbers. Scratch the 11, JTC Twice Moonbar from the 8th. This is a maiden claimer for 2-year-olds in for $10,000.
Yeah, I took the 7, Just Kiss My Lips here. Last time out, this horse had a pretty good race. Broke well in that race. It was a field of 9. Had the lead at one point, according to the program here. Just missed by a nose at the wire. There was another horse in there. A lot of Ways was in there, too. I like a lot of Ways. Didn't pick the horse in my top 4 tonight, but I think a lot of Ways was a good runner last time out. I think that was a solid race, but just don't have the extreme confidence here in race number 8 that I've had in some of the other ones. I think this one is wide open, but I did end up on the 2-to-1 horse there. I got Jet Black Zoom as my second choice. Can this horse be beaten? Yes, I think this horse can be beaten right here in this spot. Last time out, the horse ran 6, was beaten by 3 lengths, got bumped from both sides of what the comment says in that one.
And also missed the break really bad.
Yeah, so that's never a good thing. And, that was in a maiden race, drops out in here for the tag. And you see when Jet Black Zoom was in for the tag 2 starts back at $7,500. Ran a good second in that one, just missed by a neck in that one. But I don't know. I think this is just going to be a strange race. I'm having a feeling there's going to be a big money winner in this one. And then I got number 8, Magic Shaded. That's my big money horse right here, 20-1 in this one. All 4 races for Magic Shaded coming out of trials in New Mexico, including 3 of them at Ruidoso Downs were the 3 most recent races. Now, the horse wasn't a factor pretty much in any of those races, right? Never really. I think he's only been in front of 1 horse so far in his entire life, maybe 2. But Magic Shaded, I think, coming out of those futurity trials, drops down in here for $10,000. First start here at Lone Star Park. This horse might pop. We see the trainer, Manuel Rodolfo Rodriguez. He's had 3 wins out of 15 starts out here. And I want to say his 3 wins were in some pretty big races, too. Magic Shaded, give me this 20-1 horse in my top 3. If something happens to those first 2 that I picked, I think this horse could come up and sting them all.
He's my 4th pick, too. He's certainly at the right level after being just monstrously overmatched in those trials, but he was paid up for them, so why not? He was 128-1 in the All-American trial last time. I went with the favorite here, but I hate going with the favorite in a race like this. But I just think that if Jet Black Zoom gets out of there, which she's had some sort of start issues 3 out of her 4 races, and that could be a trend that continues. You never know. It's hard to predict that for certain, but she certainly has shown a history of not getting away well, whether it's her fault or not. But I took her over Lotta Teresa, who was a video horse, and I picked her last time at 11-1, and she ran okay. She had a poor post, in my opinion, last time. Time before was a great late rally. Now he draws inside. I think Lotta Teresa, who has done pretty well in the Roberto Duenas barn since claiming him, I keep an eye on the 1 there. In fact, I almost picked the 1 on top, but I couldn't quite pull the trigger. 9th race. $5,000 maiden claimers here, going 220. Take out number 3, Jewel R3, and the 11, Ocean on the way. The 12 gets in.
Yeah, so I'll take Rhonda R3 in this one. This horse was a third-place finisher last time out. Came close to picking up the win in that race. Missed by a neck. Was close up before that. And before that as well, you can see the 3 times this horse ran at the $7,500 maiden claiming level. This horse was right up there toward the front. Drops down in here to $5,000 tonight. Goes 220, which is the shortest this horse has been. I think it all is going to put together a nice win for Rhonda R3. Number 4, Surviving the Storm, is my second choice. This horse has run third 4 times in a row. Cross the finish line third 4 times in a row.
One time misbehaved and got disqualified.
Yeah, got the little slap on the wrist.
Still
placed
finished
6th.
third, though.
Yeah, but this horse
Cross
is
the wire.
consistent with those third-place finishes. I'm elevating him once to second tonight. We'll see what happens. But, all those races have been at this $5,000 level. And then I got the 7 as my third choice, JMG, Unquiet Mind. Came close last time to breaking that maiden at this 220-yard distance. We'll see what happens. But I got an 8.47 in race 9.
Yeah, I decided to try to go against the favorites here. I went with the 2, Miss Siruhana. Only been out twice, hasn't shown much. Debuted in October of last year here. Was 35-1 against maiden claimers up the track. Came back after a year break, broke in and then bore in that October 19th start. Wound up checking in 6th. Same basic level. I just think maybe the post toward the inside and the fact that some of these ones that are going to take some money have proven over and again that they're maybe not the biggest on winning. I'm going to take a shot with Miss Siruhana. Of the 8-1 shots I picked today, and I think this is the third one, she's the one I have the least faith in.
All right.
But we'll see. Okay. Last race, Super High 5 carryover, $8,136. Scratch the 2 alsos. This is an allowance for 3-year-olds and up, non-2 lifetime. There are some very fast breakers in this race. The 1, the 2, and the 7 I noted break just rippingly fast almost every time. Boy, you're really on the 7 hole today.
I like the
How many?
for
1,
some
2,
reason it
3, 4.
works
That's
out.
your half the picks on top for you are 7 horses.
Well, I'll
tonight.
tell you what, I really like the 7 here. Ain't I mesmerized? You were talking about fast breakers. The 7 is one of those fast breakers. You can see this horse broke fast last time out, had a big lead early on in that race. Ended up getting caught at the 440-yard distance. Just missed by a head in that one. You see A.J. Prince was in there, another next out winner. Now, ain't I mesmerizing? I like that this horse is dropping down in distance tonight, going from those last 2 at the quarter-mile distance, the 2 before that at 400, goes to 330 tonight with the fast breaks, the speed that this horse shows early on. I think Ain't I Mesmerizing is a winner. Cheyenne Temptation, this horse won by almost 2 lengths last time for Toby Keaton. Brian Candanosa was aboard. They go tonight, the same thing. Same distance right here at this track. See if this horse can't put together a nice run. Then I got the 2, Blue Moon Arising, as my third choice. This horse was close up in a stakes race back on Bank of America Challenge Championship night. That was the Neutrina Stakes. Had the lead most of the way down the stretch. Ended up getting caught at the end. Missed by a length and a 4th place finish there. But I think this horse can definitely get up and run.
And I think she will really appreciate 70 fewer yards because she was right in that race till to the end. I like Ain't I Mesmerizing as well. 2 starts ago, she lurched in and broke slowly. He did, rather. Otherwise, his starts have been excellent, and his performances have been really good of late, dating back to last year. I think if he gets out well, which I hope he will, he's going to be tough to beat. So I got him over Jessa Corona Dash, the 5. Juan Diaz brings this horse off the bench. A bullet work at Red Earth Training Center on the 9th of November, which you don't see a lot of really fast works out of there that often. This horse, the last race at Los Al, I'm picking this horse mainly because his last race, that non-2 allowance, featured a horse named Disruption, who went on to win his next race and is now 3 for 13. And a Revenant Lady has now won a couple of races and is stakes placed. And Terrific Phoenix is a 3-time winner now. So they built on their records, after that race. And they're not world beaters, but that was a pretty good race. And he broke his maiden at Los Al, a race before that. He's had a little time off. I just think he's got a shot to get up in there in the mix. But I'm curious to see how he runs, too, for Diaz off the bench. So I went 7, 5, and 1 in here with the 2 fourth. So good way to wrap it up. All right, well, Rodney will be down here with his previews and selections from the paddock. Weather's pretty good tonight.
Yeah, a lot better than it was last weekend.
Yeah, it's not bad. And we will have all of the action for you coming up starting in 29 minutes. Please wager early. We have our beer specials from last week as well. There's certain types of beers available on I think it's the center bar.
Correct.
And then there's other beer specials, Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Bud Light, $5 plus tax while supplies last, available at wider locations.
Yeah, pretty much if you got a question, ask your bartender, hey, what kind of specials we got tonight, and they're going to tell you all about them and get you fixed up.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot for looking in, and good luck on your Thursday.